Where did a dirty black thief like you steal that necklace? Manhattan, Pierre Hotel Ballroom, $10,000 tickets. The city's most powerful elite. A white woman in diamonds grabbed Diana Owens by the hair. Look at you, cheap uniform, scuffed shoes, dark skin, and you dare wear a sapphire necklace? Diana gasped. My mother left. Your mother? The woman spat in her face. Black trash like you don't have mothers who own jewelry. You have mothers in prison or dead. She ripped the necklace off. The chain tore Diana's neck. This is what happens when we hire animals. The crowd stepped back like Diana carried disease. Whispers spread like poison. Women clutched their purses tighter. Men called for security. Across the room, billionaire Vivian Aldridge saw the necklace dangling from the woman's hand. Her champagne glass fell. Her vision tunneled. She buried that exact necklace in her daughter's coffin 23 years ago. How is a dead girl's necklace on a living stranger? Security guards appeared within seconds. Two large men in black suits flanked Diana like she was a criminal. Ma'am, you need to come with us. The taller guard reached for her arm. Diana's voice shook. I didn't steal anything. That necklace was mine. My foster mother gave it to me before she died. Sure she did. The woman in diamonds, her name tag read Mrs. Huntington, waved the necklace like evidence. And I'm the Queen of England. Take her to the office. Call the police. Diana's world tilted. Her insulin pump beeped its final warning. She needed her medication. She needed to sit down. But the guards pulled her toward the exit. The crowd parted like she was contaminated. Women pulled their children closer. Men shook their heads in disgust. 300 people watched her humiliation and did nothing. Then a voice cut through the chaos. Stop! Vivian Aldridge stepped forward. Silver hair, Chanel suit, eyes like steel. Every person in that ballroom knew her face. Billionaire, pharmaceutical empire, more powerful than half the politicians in the room. Release her. Vivian's voice left no room for argument. Now! The guards hesitated. Mrs. Huntington sputtered. Vivian, this girl stole... She stole nothing. Vivian walked closer. Her gaze locked on the necklace. That belongs to her. Let her go. Diana's knees buckled with relief. The guards released her arms. Mrs. Huntington's face turned red with embarrassment. But Vivian wasn't done. She turned to the crowd, her voice carrying across the silent ballroom. This young woman was publicly assaulted and falsely accused in front of 300 witnesses. I suggest everyone here delete any photos or videos immediately, unless you want your faces attached to a hate crime lawsuit. The threat landed like a bomb. Phones disappeared into purses and pockets. Guests suddenly found their champagne very interesting. Vivian turned back to Diana. Her expression softened, but her eyes held something desperate, something hungry. What's your name? Diana. Diana Owens. Diana. Vivian said it like a prayer. That necklace, where did you get it? The office was quiet, private, away from the staring crowd. Diana sat in a leather chair, her hands shaking. Vivian sat across from her, unable to look away from the necklace now back around Diana's neck. My foster mother left it to me. Diana's fingers touched the sapphire reflexively. Her name was Dorothy Williams. She was a nurse. She died 3 years ago from cancer. Vivian's face went pale. Dorothy Williams, Mercy Heights Hospital? Diana's eyes widened. Yes, how did you... What else did she leave you? Vivian leaned forward, her composure cracking. Letters? Documents? Anything about where she got the necklace? Just a note. It said the necklace was mine, that she kept it safe for me. Diana pulled back slightly. Why? What's this about? Vivian stood abruptly, pacing the small office like a caged animal. Her hands trembled. Her breathing came fast and shallow. That necklace was custom-made, one of a kind. Made in Florence by a jeweler who's been dead for 15 years. She turned to Diana, tears in her eyes. I put that necklace in my daughter's casket. I watched them close the coffin. I watched them lower it into the ground. The air left the room. Diana couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Your daughter? Catherine Rose Aldridge. She died 23 years ago. She was 3 years old. Vivian's voice broke. She drowned in our pool during a 4th of July party. I never recovered. I never moved on. Diana's mind spun. Nothing made sense. But if she's dead, how do I have her necklace? That's what I need to find out. Vivian pulled out her phone, dialing quickly. Malcolm, I need you at the Pierre immediately and bring everything we have on Mercy Heights Hospital. Specifically, July 2002. She paused. Yes, I know it's midnight, I don't care. She hung up and turned back to Diana. Her eyes held something fierce, something terrifying. Diana, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Diana nodded, unable to speak. Do you have any birthmarks? Anything distinctive? Diana's hand moved to her left shoulder blade without thinking. The crescent-shaped mark she'd had her whole life, the one Dorothy said made her special. Vivian saw the gesture. Her knees gave out. She collapsed into the chair, a sob tearing from her throat. Catherine had that birthmark, exactly that shape, exactly that place. The room spun. Diana gripped the chair arms to stay upright. What are you saying? Vivian looked up, tears streaming down her face. Her voice came out as a whisper. I'm saying that necklace shouldn't exist outside that grave. I'm saying you have my dead daughter's birthmark. I'm saying Dorothy Williams worked at the hospital the night my daughter died. She stood, moving closer. I'm saying nothing about this makes sense, unless... She didn't finish. Couldn't finish. The implication hung in the air like smoke. Diana stood abruptly. I need to go. This is crazy. This is... Wait. Vivian grabbed her hand. Please, I'll pay you $50,000. Just help me understand how you got that necklace. Help me find the truth about Dorothy Williams. $50,000. More money than Diana had seen in her life. Enough to pay her medical bills, enough to survive. But the look in Vivian's eyes wasn't about money. It was about something deeper, something desperate. It was about hope that shouldn't exist. What truth was buried with Catherine Aldridge's body? Diana didn't sleep that night. She sat in her studio apartment in the Bronx, surrounded by the few boxes from Dorothy's belongings. Most were sold when she couldn't pay storage fees. What remained fit in her closet. She pulled out Dorothy's day planner, faded pages with coffee stains, careful handwriting marking shifts and appointments. Nothing unusual until July 2002. The pages were torn out completely. Diana's pulse quickened. She dug deeper. Hospital ID badges, a Mercy Heights name tag, then a folder with newspaper clippings, dozens of them, all about the Aldridge family. Tragedy strikes wealthy family. Billionaire's daughter dies. Vivian Aldridge establishes foundation. Every article about Catherine's death, every funeral photo. Dorothy had collected them for years. Why? More articles about Vivian's pharmaceutical company, her rise to power, the Aldridge Foundation. Dorothy had tracked this family for 2 decades. Then the note. Dorothy's shaky handwriting from the cancer. Forgive me, Diana. I did what I thought was right. The truth is in Mercy Heights records. Room 1238. July 4th, 2002. They made me choose. Room 1238. They made me choose. Choose what? At the bottom, wrapped in tissue paper, a photograph. A baby, 6 months old, light brown skin, curly dark hair. On the back, Catherine Rose, 6 months. The baby looked nothing like the blonde Catherine from newspapers. This baby had darker skin, features that looked familiar. Diana ran to the bathroom mirror, held the photo beside her face. The eyes, the nose, the mouth shape, like looking at herself as an infant. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Malcolm Rivers, Mrs. Aldridge's head of security. We found something you need to see. Can you meet us at my office tomorrow, 10 a.m., address below. Diana stared at the message, at the photograph, at the clippings spread across her floor. Dorothy had been hiding something. Something big enough to collect evidence for 23 years. Something involving a dead billionaire's daughter and a necklace that shouldn't exist. Malcolm Rivers spread files across his desk. Former FBI agent. 20 years of investigative experience. Dorothy Williams, age 61 at death, worked as labor and delivery nurse at Mercy Heights from 1998 to 2005. She quit abruptly 2 weeks after Catherine's drowning. No explanation given. Vivian studied the photo. An older black woman with kind eyes and tired smile. Where did she go? Moved to the Bronx, took a job at a community clinic, much lower pay, much longer hours. Malcolm pulled up another file. Then something interesting. 3 months after she moved, she became a foster parent to a newborn baby girl. Diana Owens, no birth certificate on file initially, listed as abandoned at a hospital, no known mother or father. Malcolm leaned back. But here's what doesn't add up. Dorothy had no history of fostering, no kids of her own. She was 60 years old. Why would she suddenly take in a newborn? Vivian's mind raced. She knew something about Catherine about that night. That's my theory, too. Malcolm opened another file, expression darkening. Catherine's autopsy report is sealed. I tried to access it. Denied. I pulled strings with contacts at the medical examiner's office. Still denied. Why would an accidental drowning have a sealed autopsy? Exactly. Malcolm showed a photo of an older white man with silver hair. This is Dr. Richard Hoffman, medical examiner who signed Catherine's death certificate. He retired 2 weeks after filing the report, moved to the Cayman Islands, very wealthy for a city medical examiner on government salary. The pieces clicked. Dorothy quit. Hoffman retired, both within weeks of Catherine's death, both suddenly financially comfortable. Someone paid them to keep quiet. That's what I think. Malcolm hesitated. Your husband, Thomas. Did he ever mention anything unusual about that night? Anything about the hospital or autopsy? Vivian's throat tightened. Thomas died 10 years ago in a car accident. She'd mourned him alongside Catherine, 2 ghosts haunting her life. He never spoke about it. The grief destroyed him. She paused. But now I'm wondering if it was grief or guilt. Malcolm's computer chimed. He opened an email and his face went pale. What is it? He turned the screen. An anonymous message. 1 line of text. Stop digging into Mercy Heights, or Diana Owens won't be the only one asking questions about her past. Attached was a photo. Diana leaving her apartment building that morning. Recent. Clear. Someone was watching her. Vivian stood abruptly. We need to bring her in now. Already sent a car. Malcolm closed his laptop. But Vivian, whoever sent this has serious resources. They're watching us both. They've kept this secret for 23 years. They won't let it come out easily. Vivian stared at Catherine's photo on Malcolm's desk. 3 years old, blonde curls and blue eyes. What if everything was a lie? Diana opened her apartment door to find Vivian Aldridge standing in the hallway. No designer suit, no diamonds, just jeans and a sweater. She looked like a desperate mother. Someone's threatening you. Vivian pushed inside, Malcolm following. We need to talk now. Diana's hands shook as she read the email, saw her own photo attached. Someone had been watching her. Who would do this? Someone who doesn't want the truth about Dorothy Williams coming out. Vivian sat on Diana's worn couch, looking out of place in the cramped apartment. Diana, I need to know everything, every detail Dorothy told you. Diana pulled out the boxes, showed them the newspaper clippings, the photograph of baby Catherine, Dorothy's cryptic note about room 1238. Malcolm photographed everything with his phone. Vivian held the baby photo with trembling hands. This isn't the Catherine I raised. Her voice broke. The Catherine I knew had lighter skin, blonde hair, blue eyes. Diana's stomach dropped. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe the baby in this photo is the real Catherine, my biological daughter, and the child I raised. Vivian couldn't finish. The implications hung heavy in the room. Diana felt dizzy. Her whole life she'd been told her mother abandoned her at a hospital, that she was unwanted, unloved. What if that was a lie? Dorothy's note mentions room 1238. Malcolm pulled up building records on his phone. That was a medical record storage room at Mercy Heights. But here's the problem. The hospital is being demolished next week. All paper records will be destroyed. Vivian stood. Then we go there tonight. We find room 1238 and whatever Dorothy left behind. It's condemned property. Trespassing. Could be dangerous. I don't care. Vivian turned to Diana. I need to know what happened to my daughter. You need to know who you really are. This is our only chance. Diana thought about Dorothy. The woman who raised her, fed her, loved her. The woman who kept this secret for 23 years, who died without telling the truth. She thought about the necklace, the birthmark, the threats. Someone was afraid of what they'd find in room 1238, which meant it was worth finding. I'm in. Diana stood. But I want answers. Real ones, no matter what we find. Vivian extended her hand. Diana took it. The touch felt electric, familiar, like something remembered from a dream. We find the truth together. Vivian's grip was strong. Whatever it costs, whatever it takes. Malcolm pulled keys from his pocket. I know a way in through the service entrance, but we need to move fast. Demolition starts in 6 days. They left the apartment together. Diana locked the door behind her, uncertain if she'd return as the same person. The truth was waiting in room 1238, and Diana knew it would change everything. What secrets die when buildings fall? Mercy Heights Hospital stood like a corpse in the darkness. Windows boarded, walls tagged with graffiti, the smell of decay thick in the air. Malcolm disabled the alarm system. The service door groaned open. They stepped inside, flashlights cutting through black. Room 1238, third floor. Malcolm led them up the crumbling stairwell. The corridor was destroyed, water damage, mold, holes in the ceiling. Their footsteps echoed like gunshots. Malcolm picked the lock on room 1238. Inside was chaos, file cabinets overturned, papers scattered everywhere. Someone had searched this room already. Someone beat us here. Malcolm surveyed the damage, but Diana noticed a cabinet in the corner, untouched, ignored. Help me move this. Behind it was a small safe. Dorothy's key fit perfectly. The safe clicked open. Inside were files, documents, and a sealed envelope in Dorothy's handwriting. To whoever finds this. Vivian ripped it open. Her hands shook as she read aloud. July 3rd, 2002, 2 babies born tonight. Catherine Rose Aldridge, born 11:47 p.m., heart defect, died at 12:31 a.m., mother unconscious, baby girl Doe, born 11:52 p.m., mother unknown, fled after delivery, healthy, abandoned. Dr. Edmund Brennan made me switch them. Said Mrs. Aldridge couldn't handle losing another baby after years of trying. He threatened my career if I refused. I gave the abandoned baby to the Aldridges, put the dead baby in the system. They looked similar enough. No one would know. For 3 years it seemed fine. Then the drowning happened. The child I'd given the Aldridges died in their pool. The real Catherine, their biological daughter, was still alive, in foster care. I tracked her down, 7 years old, 6 foster homes. I took her in, raised her as Diana. I kept the necklace as proof. I should have told the truth, but I was afraid. I got sick. I ran out of time. Diana is Catherine Rose Aldridge. Her mother has been looking for her without knowing she's alive. Tell Vivian I'm sorry. Tell Diana she was never abandoned. She was stolen. Vivian made a sound like a wounded animal. She collapsed against the wall. Diana couldn't breathe, couldn't process. She was Catherine, the billionaire's daughter, the child who should have died but lived while another took her place. Malcolm pulled out more files. Bank records, offshore accounts. Dr. Edmund Brennan ran an illegal adoption network for 30 years, swapped babies, sold them to wealthy families, made millions. He spread documents across the floor. He didn't work alone. Politicians, judges, medical examiners, all protecting his operation. Vivian found a letter from Thomas Aldridge to Edmund Brennan. The child is dead. My biological daughter is in foster care. Vivian cannot know. If she learns Catherine died at birth, then lost another child at 3, it will destroy her. Bury the records. I'll pay whatever it takes, Vivian sobbed. He knew. Thomas knew our daughter was alive and left her in the system. Diana felt something break inside her. Thomas Aldridge could have saved her. Instead, he paid to keep her hidden. There's a name in the payments, Malcolm pointed. J. Westbrook. Regular deposits for 23 years. Jennifer Westbrook. Vivian's voice turned to ice. Thomas's sister. She remarried 15 years ago to Dr. Edmund Brennan. The pieces clicked. Jennifer had been monitoring Vivian for decades, collecting payments for silence, married to the man who orchestrated everything. Malcolm's phone buzzed. Security guards just entered the building. We need to leave now. They grabbed the documents and ran. Footsteps pounded behind them. Voices echoed through the darkness. They burst into the alley. Malcolm's car sat 50 feet away. They ran. Stop! You're trespassing! Malcolm pushed them forward. Get to the car. Diana's vision blurred. She'd forgotten her insulin. Her blood sugar was crashing. The world tilted. Vivian caught her. Stay with me. Almost there. They reached the car. Malcolm threw documents in the trunk and peeled out. Diana slumped in the back seat, consciousness fading. My insulin. I need... Hospital, Vivian commanded. Too risky. They'll find us. Malcolm swerved through traffic. My apartment. Doctor on call. 5 minutes. Diana's vision went black at the edges. She felt Vivian's hand gripping hers. "Stay awake, Diana, please. I just found you. I can't lose you again." Vivian's voice, her mother's voice. Diana fought to stay conscious. Malcolm's phone rang. He answered on speaker. James Harrison, Vivian's lawyer. "We have a problem. Someone filed a petition claiming Diana is a fraud. They're demanding Vivian's assets be frozen. Judge granted a restraining order. Vivian can't contact Diana, and Diana is being investigated for identity theft." The car went silent except for Diana's labored breathing. They'd found the truth. Now the system was weaponized against them. Malcolm pulled into his building's garage. The doctor was waiting. Diana barely registered being carried inside. Insulin injection, blood sugar stabilizing, consciousness returning. She woke on a couch. Vivian sat across the room as far as the restraining order technically required. Their eyes met. "We can't talk to each other." Vivian's voice broke. "They're trying to separate us before we can tell anyone the truth." James Harrison stood between them. "The restraining order is effective immediately. Vivian, if you violate it, you'll be arrested. Diana will be detained. They'll bury this story before it sees daylight." Diana sat up slowly. "Who filed it?" "Senator Patricia Hawthorne's office. She's claiming you're exploiting Vivian's grief, calling you a con artist. The media is already running with it." Diana's phone buzzed with notifications. News articles, social media posts, her face everywhere. Billionaire's dead daughter returns, or elaborate scam. Black woman claims to be missing heiress. Is this the cruelest fraud of the year? The comments were vicious, racist, brutal. Everyone assumed she was lying. Everyone assumed the worst. Malcolm turned on the TV. Patricia Hawthorne on every channel. "This is a clear case of elder exploitation. A young woman taking advantage of a grieving mother's vulnerability. I urge everyone to—" Vivian threw a glass at the screen. It shattered. "She's protecting Brennan. She's in on it. Her husband was on Mercy Heights' board." Malcolm showed them the documents. "She knows everything. She's been complicit for decades." James paced. "We need a strategy. We have evidence, but it'll take time to authenticate. Meanwhile, they're controlling the narrative, making Diana look like a criminal." Diana looked at the documents spread across Malcolm's coffee table. Dorothy's confession, bank records, Thomas's letter, proof of everything. But proof didn't matter if no one believed them. "What do we do?" Diana's voice was small, defeated. Vivian stood. Even from across the room, her presence was powerful. "We fight. We expose them all. Brennan, Jennifer, Patricia, the entire system." Her eyes locked on Diana's. "They think they can silence us. They're wrong." "The restraining order," James started. "I don't care." Vivian's voice was steel. "That's my daughter, and I'll burn everything down to prove it. When the law protects criminals, who protects the innocent? James Harrison's law office became war headquarters. Lawyers worked through the night. Malcolm coordinated security. Vivian commanded everything while maintaining legal distance from Diana. "The DNA test will prove everything." James reviewed documents. "But it takes 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Patricia Hawthorne destroys Diana's reputation daily." Malcolm pulled up financial records. Brennan swapped over 300 babies across 5 states over 35 years. 300 families destroyed, 300 lives stolen, regular payments to shell companies, all controlled by Jennifer Brennan. Malcolm highlighted transactions. "She's been collecting hush money for decades. I tracked down Dr. Richard Hoffman, the medical examiner who signed Catherine's death certificate." Malcolm opened another file. "Living comfortably in the Cayman Islands, refusing to cooperate. But I found someone who will talk. Ruth Palmer, former nurse under Brennan, 15 years at Mercy Heights. Why would she help? Stage 4 cancer, dying, wants to clear her conscience." Vivian's eyes met Diana's across the room. "Set up a meeting. Whatever she knows, we need it." James hesitated. "The restraining order? Then Diana stays here. I'll go alone." Vivian's voice was firm. "Keep her safe, Malcolm. That's my daughter." "My daughter," said with such certainty, such love. Diana's phone buzzed with threats, racist messages. But some said, "I believe you. My baby was born at Mercy Heights. I always wondered. Don't give up. Other victims, other families. Malcolm, what if we can't prove it? Then we make them believe." Malcolm sat down. "People like Brennan think they're untouchable, but they always make mistakes. He kept records. That's evidence." Diana's insulin pump beeped. Low battery. Another reminder of her fragile health. What if I don't want this? What if I just want to be Diana Owens, not Catherine Aldridge? Malcolm considered carefully. Identity isn't just biology. It's who you become. Dorothy raised you. That's real too. But Vivian wants her daughter back, but she'll love whoever you choose to be. Malcolm's voice was kind. She's not looking for a replacement Catherine. She's looking for you. Diana could be both. Diana and Catherine, survivor and daughter. 3 hours later, Vivian returned with Ruth Palmer, elderly, frail, oxygen tank. Miss Owens, I need to tell you about your birth mother. Ruth's voice was weak but determined. Diana's heart stopped. I thought she abandoned me. That's what the records say. But it's a lie. Ruth sat slowly. Your birth mother was Shanice Wilson, 16 years old. She gave birth July 3rd, 2002. Dr. Brennan told her you died. Complications during delivery. She held you for 5 minutes before he took you away. The room went silent. Her birth mother didn't abandon her. She thought Diana was dead. Where is she now? Ruth's eyes filled with tears. Dead at 19. Drug overdose, but not accidental. Murder. Vivian gasped. Shanice came back to the hospital 6 months before she died, asking questions. She wanted proof her baby was really gone. 2 days later, she was found dead. Ruled accidental overdose. Someone killed her to keep her quiet. Malcolm's voice was hard. Ruth handed Diana a folder. Photos. A teenage girl holding a newborn with tears streaming down her face. Love unmistakable in her eyes. She loved you. Was going to keep you. Brennan took everything away. Diana stared at Shanice's face. 16. Terrified. Brave. Who held her daughter for 5 minutes. Who came back looking for answers, who died before finding them. Dorothy had DNA tests done years ago. Ruth handed papers to James. Proof Diana is Vivian's biological daughter. James read quickly. 99.99% match. Definitive proof. Dorothy knew for years. Vivian's voice shook. Never said anything. She was protecting Diana. She knew Brennan had powerful connections. Ruth's breathing worsened. There's one more thing. Brennan is dying. Stage 4 cancer. 3 months left. He's making a deal. What deal? Immunity for testimony. He'll give up everyone involved. Every politician, every judge, every family who bought a baby. Ruth leaned forward. But only if charges against his wife, Jennifer, are dropped. No! Vivian's voice was ice. Jennifer doesn't walk free. Prosecutors agree, but Brennan's lawyer says without his testimony they can't prove the conspiracy. Most records were destroyed. What we found in room 1238 is all that's left. Malcolm swore. He's holding the truth hostage. More! Ruth's voice dropped. Brennan will only testify to one person, Diana Owens. He wants to apologize personally, confess to the daughter he stole. Bile rose in Diana's throat. Face the man who destroyed her life? Who killed her birth mother? No. Vivian moved closer, forgetting the restraining order. She doesn't have to. Without his testimony, everyone walks free. James said quietly. Then I'll do it. Diana stood. I'll face him, hear his confession. Make sure every word is recorded. Vivian's eyes met hers. You don't have to be brave for me. I'm being brave for Shanice, for Dorothy, for all the families he destroyed. Diana touched her necklace. Someone has to look him in the eye and refuse to let him hide. Then I'm going with you, Vivian said. The restraining order? Damn the restraining order. That's my daughter. I'm not letting her face that monster alone. Ruth pulled out one more document. There's something else you should know about the baby who drowned, the child Vivian raised as Catherine. Everyone turned to her. Her name was Emma Rodriguez. Born to a 15-year-old mother who came to Mercy Heights alone, she was part of Brennan's first baby swap. He told the mother the baby died. Ruth's voice cracked. Emma's biological mother is still alive, living in Queens. She never knew her daughter survived or what happened to her. Vivian's face went white. The child I raised, the daughter I buried. She had a mother too, someone who grieved for her. Her name is Rosa Rodriguez. She's been looking for answers for 26 years. Diana felt the weight of it. Multiple families destroyed, multiple mothers grieving, multiple children stolen and lost and mourned. We find her, Diana said firmly. After this is over, we find Rosa Rodriguez. We tell her the truth about Emma. We give her closure. Ruth nodded. Brennan has a list. Every baby he swapped, every family involved. If you can get him to talk, we can reunite hundreds of families. The stakes crystallized. This wasn't just about Diana anymore. It was about 300 stolen children, 300 grieving mothers, 300 families who deserved the truth. When do we meet him? Diana asked. Tomorrow. Federal Detention Center. Full security. Everything recorded. James pulled out paperwork. But Diana, he's dying. He's desperate. He might say anything to protect his wife. Are you ready for that? Diana thought about Shanice, about Dorothy, about Vivian, about Rosa Rodriguez and Emma and all the stolen children. I'm ready. Can you face evil without becoming it? While lawyers filed motions and prosecutors built cases, Diana found herself in Maya Rodriguez's apartment. Maya, activist, organizer, the woman who'd found Diana, collapsed on the street and taken her to a clinic. You can't let them control the narrative. Maya pulled up her laptop. Social media dashboards, video editing software. They're using every tool they have. We need to use ours. What are you thinking? Tell your story, not through their news channels or their newspapers. Tell it directly. Maya's eyes burned with purpose. Documentary style, raw, honest. Let people see you, hear you, connect with you. Diana hesitated. They'll call it a publicity stunt. They're already calling you a liar, a scammer, a criminal. Maya pulled up the comments. Vicious, racist, cruel. You have nothing to lose by telling the truth, and everything to gain. Over the next 72 hours, they worked. Diana told her story on camera, every detail, every moment. Dorothy's deathbed confession, finding the necklace, the gala humiliation, discovering Vivian was her mother, Shanice's murder, Brennan's conspiracy. Maya interviewed Ruth Palmer, the dying nurse's confession, preserved forever. They showed the documents from room 1238. Dorothy's letter, the DNA results, everything. This is powerful. Maya edited footage with expert precision. But we need more. We need other victims. The calls started coming. Families who'd had babies at Mercy Heights, parents who always suspected something was wrong, children who never quite fit with their families. Each story adding weight to the truth. A woman named Lisa Johnson. I gave birth at Mercy Heights in 2001. They told me my son died. But I never saw the body. They said it was better that way. Now I wonder. A man named David Wilson. I was adopted as an infant. No records. No birth certificate. Just appeared in the system. Could I be one of Brennan's babies? An elderly couple. We couldn't have children. A doctor at Mercy Heights offered us a special arrangement. We thought it was legal. We had no idea. Dozens of stories. Hundreds. The comments section exploded. #Justice for Diana trended. But more importantly, #Mercy Heights truth started spreading. People sharing suspicions, asking questions, demanding investigations. The narrative shifted. Diana wasn't a scammer anymore. She was a survivor, a victim of a massive conspiracy. And she was fighting back. News outlets that had crucified her started calling for interviews. Politicians who'd ignored the story suddenly wanted to comment. The pressure mounted. Then Maya uploaded the video series. The Stolen Daughters of Mercy Heights. Episode 1. Diana's story. Her face, her voice, her truth, raw and unfiltered. Within 6 hours, 3 million views. Within 12 hours, 10 million. Within 24 hours, national news. The power of direct testimony, of looking into a camera and refusing to hide, of saying, this happened to me and I won't be silent. The New York Times published Ruth Palmer's full testimony. Front page. Every detail of Brennan's operation laid bare. The medical board launched an emergency investigation. The FBI opened a criminal task force. Former patients flooded hotlines with reports and questions. Patricia Hawthorne held a press conference, tried to deflect, tried to maintain control. A reporter asked, Senator, your late husband was on Mercy Heights board during the time Dr. Brennan operated his baby swapping scheme. Did you know about his illegal activities? Patricia's face went red. I have no comment on unsubstantiated. We have bank records showing regular payments from Brennan Medical Holdings to your family trust. How do you explain that? She stumbled, fumbled. The press smelled blood. Within hours, calls for her resignation. She resigned by midnight. Jennifer Brennan tried to flee. Malcolm's team tracked her to JFK Airport. She was arrested boarding a flight to Zurich. In custody, facing charges, she made a choice. Turn on her husband or face decades in prison. She chose herself. Her lawyer released a statement. Mrs. Brennan will cooperate fully with prosecutors. She will provide testimony and evidence regarding the full scope of Dr. Edmund Brennan's criminal enterprise. The floodgates opened. Names, dates, bank accounts. Jennifer Brennan gave up everyone. Politicians who'd accepted donations, judges who'd sealed records, medical examiners who'd falsified death certificates, families who'd knowingly bought stolen babies. The conspiracy was bigger than anyone imagined. Over 200 suspected cases, lives destroyed, families torn apart. It became one of the largest medical scandals in U.S. history. News cameras camped outside Malcolm's office, outside Vivian's building, outside Diana's apartment. The world watched as the truth burned through decades of lies. The restraining order was lifted. Judge apologized publicly. All charges against Diana dropped. The prosecutor who'd filed them resigned in disgrace. Diana stood in Malcolm's office watching the news coverage. Vivian stood beside her. For the first time in weeks, they could be in the same room without legal consequences. "We did it." Diana's voice was barely a whisper. "You did it," Vivian corrected. "You were brave enough to face them, strong enough to tell your story. You changed everything." Diana turned to face her. This woman who was her mother, who'd grieved for 23 years, who'd never stopped loving a daughter she thought was dead. "What happens now?" Before Vivian could answer, James entered with news. "Brennan's lawyer just called. He wants to schedule the meeting. Tomorrow. Federal Detention Center. He says Edmund is ready to confess. To everything." The Federal Detention Center was cold, sterile, cameras everywhere. Prosecutors filled one side of the room. Diana, Vivian, Malcolm, and James filled the other. Edmund Brennan was brought in shackled. Cancer had ravaged him. He looked like a ghost, dying slowly, painfully. He sat across from Diana. His eyes, once powerful, commanding, were now hollow, defeated. "Miss Owens." His voice was weak. "Or should I say Miss Aldridge?" Diana said nothing, just stared, letting him feel the weight of her presence. "I want to apologize," he started, "for what I did to you, to your family, to all the families." "Apologize?" Diana's voice was ice. "You want to apologize for stealing my life? For murdering my birth mother? For destroying hundreds of families?" Brennan flinched. "I never meant—" "You meant everything." Diana leaned forward. "You built an empire on stolen children. You made millions selling babies like property. You murdered a teenage girl to cover your tracks. You meant every single thing you did." "I thought I was helping." His voice cracked. "The families who couldn't have children. The babies who'd been abandoned. I thought I was saving them. By lying? By forging documents? By letting mothers grieve for children who were alive?" Vivian's voice cut through. "You didn't save anyone. You destroyed us all." Brennan's hands shook. "I kept records. Every baby, every family, every transaction. I can give you everything. Help you reunite everyone." "In exchange for what?" the prosecutor asked. "Immunity for Jennifer. Let my wife go free." Silence filled the room. Then Diana laughed, cold, bitter. "Your wife who helped you, who collected payments, who tried to silence us. You want her to walk free?" "She's all I have left." Tears ran down Brennan's face. "Please, I'll give you everything. Just let her go." "No." Diana stood. "You don't get to negotiate. You don't get to protect her. You destroyed 300 families. You murdered my mother. You don't get mercy. Then I won't testify." Brennan's voice hardened. "Without me, you can't prove half of what I did. Jennifer walks anyway. Everyone walks." The prosecutor leaned forward. "Dr. Brennan, we already have Jennifer's testimony. She gave up everything yesterday. Names, documents, bank records. We don't need you anymore." Brennan's face went white. "She wouldn't. She loves me. She loves herself more." Malcolm pulled out a document. "Her statement. 300 pages. Every crime you committed, every person you paid, every baby you stole. She gave you up to save herself." Brennan collapsed. The man who'd played God with hundreds of lives broke completely. He sobbed like a child. "She betrayed me after everything I did for her." "Like you betrayed 300 families," Diana's voice was steel. Like you betrayed Shanice Wilson? Like you betrayed me? I'm sorry, he kept repeating. I'm so sorry. Your sorry means nothing. Vivian stood. But your confession does. So talk. Every name, every crime, every baby you stole. You're going to spend your last 3 months in a cell, and you're going to spend it telling the truth. Brennan looked up, saw Diana standing tall, saw Vivian beside her, saw the cameras recording everything, saw his empire crumbling around him. He had nothing left, no wife, no freedom, no legacy except the lives he destroyed. Where do you want me to start? His voice was broken. Start with Shanice Wilson, Diana said. Tell me exactly how you killed my mother. When monsters fall, who catches them? Brennan's confession took 6 hours, recorded, witnessed, undeniable. He admitted everything. The baby-swapping operation, the illegal adoptions, the falsified death certificates, the bribes to politicians, judges, and medical examiners, the offshore accounts holding millions. He admitted to Shanice Wilson's murder, not directly. He didn't hold the needle, but he paid someone to do it. $5,000 to make a problem disappear. She came to the hospital asking questions. She wanted to exhume her baby's body. She wouldn't let it go. Brennan's voice was hollow. I couldn't let her discover the truth, so I made arrangements. Diana's hands clenched into fists. He said it so casually, like ordering coffee, like Shanice's life meant nothing. I told myself it was necessary, that one death prevented hundreds of families from being destroyed. He looked up at Diana. But I see now. I see what I really did. You murdered a child. Diana's voice shook with rage. A 16-year-old girl who just wanted to know what happened to her baby. You murdered her and called it necessary. Brennan had no response, just nodded, accepting, defeated. He gave them the list. 314 names, every baby he'd swapped, every family involved. Some were consensual, wealthy couples who knew they were buying stolen babies. Some were victims, parents who thought their children had died. Each name a life destroyed, each entry a family torn apart. The prosecutors took everything, the testimony, the evidence, the list. They had enough to bring down dozens of people, maybe hundreds. As Brennan was led away, Diana called out, "One more question." He turned, shackled, dying, broken. "Why did you save me? Why not just let Catherine die and give Vivian nothing?" Brennan's eyes filled with tears. "Because I saw Mrs. Aldridge's face when I told her she had a daughter. After years of trying, years of loss, she'd finally succeeded. I couldn't take that away from her." He paused. "I thought I was being merciful, giving her a child instead of grief. I thought I was saving her." "You weren't saving anyone." Vivian's voice cut through. "You were playing God, and you damned us all." Brennan nodded. "I know that now. I know. But it's too late. It's been too late for 23 years. He was led away. Diana never saw him again. 3 months later, he died in a prison hospital. Alone, unmourned, his name synonymous with evil. The trial became the most watched in decades. Not Brennan's, he'd confessed and died, but the trials of everyone else involved in the conspiracy. Jennifer Brennan's trial came first. Despite her cooperation, prosecutors pushed for maximum sentencing. 25 years for conspiracy, fraud, obstruction of justice, and accessory to murder. Diana testified. Vivian testified. Ruth Palmer's recorded testimony played for the jury. Other victims took the stand, one after another, each story more heartbreaking than the last. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Jennifer Brennan was led away in handcuffs, screaming about betrayal and injustice. Patricia Hawthorne's trial followed. Obstruction of justice, conspiracy to conceal a felony, accepting bribes. The evidence was overwhelming. Her husband's bank records, her own involvement in suppressing investigations. She got 12 years. Her political career destroyed. Her reputation ruined. Everything she'd built collapsed. Other trials followed. Medical examiners, hospital administrators, judges who'd sealed records, politicians who'd taken bribes. The dominoes fell one by one. Diana attended every trial, sat in the front row, made them look at her, made them see the human cost of their crimes. Vivian sat beside her, mother and daughter, united, unbreakable. The media covered everything. The story that had started with a necklace at a gala became a national reckoning. How many other hospitals were doing this? How many other doctors? How many other children were stolen? Federal legislation was introduced. Catherine's Law, mandatory DNA testing at birth, stricter oversight of adoptions, criminal penalties for baby trafficking, longer sentences for medical fraud. It passed both houses within 6 months, signed into law on the anniversary of Catherine's death. Vivian and Diana attended the signing ceremony. The president called them heroes, said they'd changed the country, protected countless children. But Diana didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a survivor, someone who'd been stolen and lost and found again, someone who'd fought for the truth because no one else would. The Catherine Zara Aldridge Foundation opened 6 months after the trials, a state-of-the-art facility in the Bronx, free medical care, legal aid, DNA testing for families searching for stolen children. The opening ceremony was emotional. Cameras everywhere, speakers from across the country, victims sharing their stories. Maya Rodriguez became director of community outreach. Ruth Palmer's name was honored with a plaque. A woman who chose truth over comfort, justice over silence. Diana spoke last, not as Catherine Aldridge, not as a billionaire's daughter, as Diana Owens, foster kid, survivor, fighter. I spent 23 years not knowing who I was. 3 mothers loved me. Shanice Wilson gave me life. Dorothy Williams gave me safety. Vivian Aldridge gave me truth. Her voice carried across the crowd. All 3 were stolen from me. All 3 had their choices taken away, but their love survived. And because it survived, so did I. She paused, looked at Vivian standing in the front row, tears streaming down both their faces. This foundation isn't just about DNA tests and reunions. It's about recognizing that every child deserves to know where they came from. Every parent deserves to hold their child. Every truth deserves to see light. Diana's voice strengthened. The system failed me. It failed Shanice. It failed Vivian. It fails someone every day. But systems can change. Justice can be reclaimed. Families can heal. The crowd erupted in applause, standing ovation, people crying, strangers hugging. The weight of collective trauma finding release. After the ceremony, a woman approached, elderly, black, nervous, hands shaking. "Excuse me, Miss Owens, my name is Gloria Wilson. I was Shanice's foster mother, your grandmother." Diana's world stopped. She stared at this woman, her grandmother, the last connection to Shanice. Gloria pulled out a photo. Young Shanice, maybe 14, smiling at the camera. "She talked about you constantly. Even after they told her you died, she said she felt you were still alive. She said a mother knows." Diana took the photo with trembling hands. Shanice, her mother, beautiful, young, lost. "She wanted to name you Hope," Gloria whispered. "She said you were her hope for a better life, for a better future. She said you were going to change the world." Diana couldn't speak, just held the photo, held this connection to the mother she never knew. She was right. Gloria smiled through tears. "You did change the world. You made sure no other mother has to lose her hope." Vivian stepped forward, extended her hand to Gloria. "Thank you for loving Shanice. Thank you for looking for Diana. You're part of this family now. If you'll have us." Gloria took her hand. 2 grandmothers, connected through loss, united in love. "I've been looking for my granddaughter for 23 years. Gloria pulled Diana into a hug. "Welcome home, baby. Welcome home." Diana broke down, held this woman who'd been searching for her, who'd loved Shanice, who'd never given up hope. 3 generations of women, finally together, finally whole. When the lost are found, what comes home with them? 1 year later, Diana's life looked nothing like before. She lived in a brownstone in Brooklyn. Her choice, not Vivian's money. Close enough to connect, far enough for independence. Sunday dinners rotated. Diana's place, Vivian's penthouse, Gloria's apartment in Harlem. 3 generations of women, finally together. Gloria shared stories of Shanice, a bright girl who loved to dance, who wanted to be a teacher, whose life was cut short by systems designed to fail her. They established the Shanice Wilson Scholarship for teen mothers pursuing education, for young black women fighting against impossible odds, for anyone who needed hope. Diana thrived in law school, top of her class, specializing in family law reform, fighting for children in the system, making sure no one else was stolen or lost or forgotten. Vivian attended every presentation, every mock trial, every achievement. The mother she'd never been allowed to be, finally getting her chance. Their relationship wasn't simple. 23 years of separation couldn't be erased overnight. They went to therapy together, worked through trauma, learned each other. But the love was real. The bond was unbreakable. They'd fought through hell to find each other. They weren't letting go. The necklace hung around Diana's neck every day, but she'd added charms. Shanice's initials, Dorothy's, Gloria's, 4 generations of mothers, 4 women who loved her, connected by gold and grief and grace. Maya and Diana's friendship deepened into something more. Love growing slowly, carefully, building something real. Vivian started dating, a widowed architect, tentative, healing, learning she could honor grief while embracing joy. The Foundation's first anniversary gala was different from the Pierre Hotel event. No $10,000 tickets, no exclusivity, just families, reunited, healing, surviving. Diana gave the keynote speech, not as a victim, as a victor. 1 year ago, I didn't know who I was. I thought I was nobody. Her voice carried confidence, power. But I was wrong. I was always somebody. I just didn't have the power to claim it. Now I do. And I'm using that power to make sure no other child has to wonder where they came from or if anyone is looking for them. The impact report was staggering. 89 families reunited through DNA matching, 15 doctors stripped of licenses, $2 billion in civil judgments. Catherine's Law adopted in all 50 states. 500 children in foster care tested and connected to biological families. Lives changed, families restored, justice served. Young women approached Diana all night. You saved my life. I found my mother because of you. You gave me hope, each embrace sacred, each story precious. This was why they fought, not for headlines, for moments like these. Final scene, a quiet moment. Diana and Vivian sitting on a bench in Central Park, watching sunset, no cameras, no lawyers, no foundation work, just mother and daughter. Do you ever wonder what life would have been like? Vivian asked. If Brennan hadn't done what he did? Every day. Diana leaned back. But then I wouldn't have known Dorothy. Wouldn't have become who I am. Wouldn't have found you this way, as equals, both fighting. I would have loved you from the start. That's what I lost. And I would have had privilege, but maybe never understood suffering. Diana turned to face her. We can't change the past. We can only honor it by building a better future. They sat in comfortable silence. The necklace caught sunset light. Diana leaned her head on Vivian's shoulder. Vivian wrapped an arm around her. 2 figures against the vast New York skyline, small but together, unbreakable. Welcome home, Catherine. Welcome home, Diana, Vivian whispered. You're finally where you belong. Diana closed her eyes, felt the warmth of her mother's embrace, felt the weight of Shanice's memory, felt Dorothy's love, felt Gloria's pride. She was home, finally, completely, home. Have you ever wondered how many families are still searching? How many truths are still buried? How many children still don't know their names? This is one story of justice found, but there are thousands more waiting. Every child deserves to know where they came from. Every parent deserves to hold their child. Every truth deserves to see light. The system failed Diana Owens and Vivian Aldridge. It failed Shanice Wilson and Dorothy Williams. It fails someone every day. But systems can change. Justice can be reclaimed. Families can heal. If you're searching for someone, don't stop. If you suspect a truth is hidden, dig deeper. If you see injustice, speak louder. Because somewhere, a mother is missing her daughter, and somewhere, a daughter is searching for home. Be the person who helps them find each other. If this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs hope. Comment below with your own story. Maybe you're searching for someone too. Maybe you have information that could help a family reunite. Subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about real people fighting real battles. Stories about Black women overcoming impossible odds. Stories about justice finally served. Stories about touching moments that remind us we're all human. These are life stories that matter. And your engagement helps more people find them. Hit that like button if you believe every child deserves to know their truth. Hit subscribe if you believe families deserve justice. Hit share if you know someone who's still searching. Together, we can make sure no other Diana has to spend 23 years not knowing who she is. Together, we can make sure every Vivian gets to hold her child again. Together, we can change the system that failed them all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being part of the solution. Until next time, keep fighting for truth. Keep searching for justice. Keep believing that love always finds a way home.